If you're about to play Ghost of Yōtei and want to know some tips, tricks, and useful information that will make the game more enjoyable for you, then this video is for you because I'm going to break down all the important info I wish I had known before playing the game. No spoilers in this video, of course, and cheers to the PlayStation UK team for sponsoring this video. Now, let's first cover some of the most important basics you need to know, and that is game length, because it took me approximately 25 to 35 hours to finish the main story at an average pace on normal difficulty, with another additional 30 hours of game time where I still haven't finished all the side content in the game at the time of recording this for you, but I reckon 100% completion will take you around 60 to 80 hours depending upon how much time you do spend exploring this game. That said, the game is split up into 3 story chapters. Some are longer than others with little to no tutorial time, but just enough at the start of the game to get your bearings, which is a good thing in my opinion. There is also no new game plus at the end of the story, by the way, so because of that, there is no need for you to just power through the story. You can take your time exploring, which I do recommend with this game, but even if you just want to play the narrative only, there are some world restrictions you definitely need to know before you do. Firstly, there are 6 regions in Ghost of Yōtei, and not all of them are open to you right away. You will start in the Yōtei grasslands, but then you have a choice to either move through the Takashi Range, the Nayuro Wilds, the Ishikari Plains, or Teshio Ridge, with the final endgame area being the Oshima Coast, which is totally blocked off until you progress the main story and have killed the respective targets in all of these main regions on your screen here. Now, here is the key point though, because as soon as you finish the intro and you do spawn into Atsu's family home, as you can see here, you can set off and explore all 5 of those regions without significantly moving forward the main storyline, which is a good thing. But unlike Ghost of Tsushima, the map doesn't unfog after completing story chapters, so those 3 chapters, or the main storyline in total, and it won't reveal itself even if you clear every enemy camp on the map. So you can explore these regions freely as soon as you jump into the game, excluding that Oshima Coast. But the real question is, what is the best way to actually explore this game and not spend tens of hours running up and down, unfogging every inch of the map? Well, whenever you enter a new region, I really would recommend that you beeline straight to the highest possible shrine point, which is always at the top of a mountain in each region and begins on the ground level with a Torii gate, as you can kind of see me run through here. And I will pop each of these locations on each region on your screen for you now, so you know where to go. And the reason I suggest doing this is that your new spyglass tool has unlimited range when discovering locations of interest that will then appear on your map menu over the top of this undiscovered fog. This means that you can then scan the whole region on your mountaintop, even through trees or obstacles, until a kind of DualSense controller starts vibrating to reveal the majority of these activities in one full sweep, again in this region. Now, when you do come off your mountaintop and ride up to one of these locations that you've just found with your spyglass, you don't actually need to complete the activity right then and there. You just need to get close enough to have the location name pop up on your screen, and that way you can come back later on in your playthrough when you do feel like actually doing that particular activity. In fact, to come back to it, all you need to do is just hover your map cursor over that discovered location and just press the triangle button on your DualSense controller when the icon pops up to fast travel back there directly, which you can do for all locations in this game, by the way, which is actually a really good thing. But that raises the question, what are all of these activities anyway, and what do they actually give you for completing them? Well, there are 12 open world activities in Ghost of Yōtei, and none of them appear in your menu when you do finish the prologue, but they will pop up as soon as you come across them after coming down your mountain with your spyglass or just finding them randomly in the world. Now, we have 15 bamboo time strikes, and that boosts your spirit meter so you can heal more often or trigger abilities more frequently. We then have 16 hot springs to complete, which also return here in this game, and this increases your max health while Atsu reflects on a story, just like Jin did. We also have 20 Pillars of the Fallen, which are monuments to the fallen samurai in the region, giving you cosmetic weapon kits to change the look of your weapons when you do loot them, and you can then change them in the gear menu. As mentioned, we do have those 13 shrines that appear across the map as well, rewarding you with charms that offer unique stat boosts in the gear menu as well. We also have 18 Summit E paintings, where you can then, of course, paint in first person, rewarding you with a variety of cosmetics when you do complete them. Next, we've got the 22 occupied locations, which which are the enemy camps for you to clear, the ones I did at the start of the game. And what I would say about that is remember to loot the purple chests that spawn after you do finish them. There's lots of resources and rewards to be had in them. But as for getting cash fast in this game, the 8 Zeni Hijiki coin games are available in gambling den locations around the map, and they give you 2,000 coins or mon the first time that you win in each of those dens or each of those regions, so do not skip them. Now, as for our 11 Inari Fox Shrines, they do return here as well in this game, also rewarding you with unique charms. But it doesn't stop there though, because the 8 Shamazin songs are music sheets that you earn from traveling musicians, and when you do end up playing their music in game, the guiding navigational wind mechanic will then lead you to discover one of these specific activities in the open world. In this case, it allowed me to go and find all of those enemy camps. We also have 10 wolf bonds, which are events at wolf dens where you need to defend the wolves from the occupying enemy forces in the region to strengthen your bond with the wolf, which means it spawns at your side more frequently in combat. And as for you puzzle fanatics, you're in luck, because there are 12 puzzle boxes that are new menu mini games that you can complete them for a variety of mixed rewards. And the final activity is perhaps the most important in this game, and those are the 61 altars of reflection, because when you do bow in front of one of them, it grants a skill, or what the game calls a technique point, and that is one of the most powerful systems in this game that you really need to understand, as it is incredibly important. But I will also tell you what is incredibly important, and that's hitting this new hype button down below on YouTube, if you can see it, or the like button. I still have no idea what YouTube is doing with all of these changes, but I know that it really helps support me and the channel, especially with how long these videos take. So thank you very much for your support. If you find them useful, I do really appreciate it. Now, once you do bow at one of these altars of reflection, you're going to be locked into this technique screen where you can't quit it until you actually invest that skill point. So it is very important, that's why I mention it, for you to know in advance where you want to invest your skill points early on in this game. And let me break these sections down for you as a general encompassing overview in the hope that it kind of simplifies it for you. The Onryo section is your base ability tree, and this improves your general attack output in the game. The Assassinations tree lets you chain kill more enemies in one go, and it improves your overall stealth abilities. The survival tree here improves movement whilst in combat, making Atsu more agile for you. And the range tree improves your range-based abilities with the 2 bow variants available in this game. Now, my early recommendation for you is to spend technique points in these trees until you unlock the weapon stances, which sit inside the melee tree here. And this is where you'll gain new ability moves that are tied to each stance that will only unlock after you've completed the Sensei Master training quest for each discipline, which I'm going to walk you through how to do in just a moment. Then you've also got the revenge skill tree option here, which you can power up special abilities like the Onryo Ghost Howl, which you unlock earlier on in the game, or you can boost your horse's travel speed, or you can unlock hidden techniques that only reveal themselves to be unlocked as you, of course, progress through the main story, which is why they've got that kind of question mark icon on them, by the way. And finally, the wolf tree here, where you can spend more points to make your wolf stronger in combat and appear more frequently. But before we do go through how to get hold of all of these weapon stances, how do you actually unlock this wolf to make those points worth the investment in that wolf tree? Well, straight to the point, the wolf will only unlock after you complete those wolf den activities that we just spoke about. And to get this mechanic activated as soon as possible, I'd also recommend you head south of Atsu's family home to Lake Shikotsu after the story intro is complete, which is here on your map, by the way, and is the nearest wolf den at the start of the game. Now, when you do arrive and you examine the corpses, a wolf will appear and then lead you to a camp where the enemy samurai soldiers are kind of rounding up all the wolves in the region. You need to clear this camp, of course, and then release the cage wolves to finish the activity. Now, not only will your bond with this wolf increase, meaning it becomes more tamed the more wolf dens that you do, but if you complete 4 wolf dens, the full wolf skill tree that we just discussed will unlock, and after you complete 7 dens, you'll then be able to name your wolf as well, which is pretty cool. Now, the benefit of doing this isn't just to name the wolf, it does actually give you a big advantage in combat, especially when your wolf can actually take down specific or target specific enemies that utilize weapons that you can't yet counter because you haven't unlocked the correct weapon stance to do so. And that is the perfect transition onto weapon stances now, because how do we actually unlock them all, and why should you? Well, just know, it is possible to unlock all weapon stances before significantly progressing the storyline, because as well as doing all the camps, I also unlocked all of these weapon stances for you just to test if it was possible. And not only does this then open up the map for you early on as you travel to each sensei in each region, but the game will then reward you with weapon cosmetics for all of your weapons and not just the katana that you start with, as well as those stance skill trees and those techniques become available for you to spend in, as we also just mentioned, subsequently increasing your damage output long before you otherwise would be able to do so if you just completed the game region by region sequentially. So to unlock your dual katana stance, which counters spearmen and naginata enemies, you'll want to head to Master Hanbei after finishing the prologue right here on your map, by the way. And from there, you've got a couple options open to you. You can either head west into the Ishikari Plains and complete the quick border quest to actually get access to the region, and then you can speak to Master Takehashi, who then teaches you the Yari spear stance, which is great against daggers or Kusarigama close quarters enemies. Or you can head east into the Takashi range to visit Master Yoshida, who then teaches you the Odachi stance, which allows you to wield this two-handed katana, essentially this big broadsword that allows you to nuke brute enemies very quickly. And whilst you're there, you may as well go ahead and push north through the Nairo Wilds region into the snowy Teshio Ridge region, where after a short intro quest with the Ainu people, Master Enomoto will teach you the Kusarigama stance that breaks enemies carrying shields pretty much instantly. And that brings us very nicely onto how armor sets and customization works in this game. So let's go through that together right now. So when it comes to armor sets and weapon performance, Ghost of Yōtei doesn't apply stats or perks onto weapons specifically as an incentive for you to then equip them. So as clear as I can be in explaining this for you, if we go into the gear menu, your helmet slot and your mask slot here are cosmetic only and do not have any stat bonuses or benefits at all attributed to them that would benefit you in combat in any way. Now, as for the armor sets, these are going to provide you with gameplay perks that can be improved and upgraded upon, which you will then see represented by the diamonds in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Now, these diamonds represent armor level tiers, and the number of upgrade levels does vary depending upon the armor set itself. So some are of course going to be rarer and better performing than others, so that is why you're going to get different diamonds depending upon that armor set in particular. So if you want to upgrade an armor set, you need to do so by speaking to the blacksmith, who is available at the inn quest hubs, and there's one in every region that you can fast travel to. So once you do upgrade your gear by a diamond slot, you're going to notice a few things. Not only will you see stat changes, but you will also see a change in its appearance. And it's really important for you to know here, but you can always revert back to your armor's previous appearance at an earlier level if you prefer the look of it. You just need to press the square button in the gear die menu and then flick back and forth at the top here with your L1 and R1 buttons to kind of get what you want. Now, the caveat here, of course, means that there is no transmog in this game, so you can't mix the look of one armor set with the stats of the other. But what about weapons? How do you make them more powerful in this game if they don't have any stat perks on them, so you can then increase your damage output? Well, before we go through that together, if this video has been useful or enjoyable so far, hitting that sub button helps me massively out on YouTube. It also means you don't miss the next video breakdown of Ghost of Yōtei, because I've got lots of videos coming your way and I'm going to be covering this game long into the future. So it'd be great to have you around, and I really appreciate your support. So thanks very much. Now, in my opinion, the best way to think of your stances is as weapons themselves. So you're not upgrading the weapon stance per se, you're just upgrading the weapon damage behind it, if that makes sense, which is then represented by the upgrade bar here you can see on your screen back at your father's forge in Atsu's family home, with there being 4 consecutive phases for each of your weapons. And let me kind of walk you through this. The first upgrade, shown here as the second diamond, just needs 20 metal resources gathered out in the open world. The second upgrade now needs, as you can see here, 20 metal plus 15 Oni masks. And here's the catch, because Oni masks only drop in the Ishikari Plains region here on your map, so you won't find them anywhere else in the game apart from the Yashima Coast endgame region. And as for the third upgrade, it jumps to then 30 metal pieces, but swaps Oni masks for Shinobi steel. Again, this is region locked, with them only dropping from enemies in the snowy Teshio Ridge and nowhere else, again, apart from the endgame Ashima Coast. And finally, the fourth upgrade is the big one. You'll need 60 metal, 15 rare metals, which also drop around the whole map in very small quantities. That's why they're rare, and gun parts. But gun parts are, you guessed it, exclusive to the Ashima Coast region, which is, again, endgame storyline find content unlocks. But this is exactly why I would recommend exploring early, unlocking your stances and clearing a few camps for resources, because then you can max out your weapon damage to phase 4 before the story forces you to, and that gives you a massive damage spike with all of your weapons heading into late game fights on the Oshima coast. Now, there's also some settings here that you should definitely check out before you play, because a few of these will save you literally hours of time in this game in a good way. Now, in the gameplay section under the settings menu here, do consider tweaking the timing window if you're struggling with the parry or deflecting system in combat. This gives you more wiggle room early on to get used to the pace of combat in this game, as it's quite quick. It's a steep learning curve, and then you can kind of just crank it up later on in the game when you're a little bit more comfortable. This will save you a lot of frustration as you do acclimatize to Ghost of Yōtei. I'd also recommend you turn on enhanced wind visibility in the accessibility menu, as it makes the navigational wind prompt on your screen easier to see when you are galloping around on your horse to a map marker that you've placed down. And most crucially, I would absolutely encourage everyone to enable the Zeni Hajiki shot power display. This shows you the exact power of your flick when you're holding down your R2 button here, which is basically going to guarantee that you will win every mini game first try, and you will stack some good coins, some money fast in those gambling dens early on. Also, consider switching on the rapid button presses to simplify. That way the bamboo mini game isn't timed, so you can just take a few seconds to memorize the button order and then hit them or press them cleanly without rushing or running out of time. And finally, turn on that golden bird setting if it's not already on. It will guide you straight to activities that you would have otherwise very easily missed or run straight past if you have got it turned off. Now, I have made another helpful video like this for you for Ghost of Yōtei, so give that a click on your screen right now to get even more out of this awesome game. If it's not up yet, it will be very soon. Subscribe if you haven't. Big thanks to the PlayStation UK team for their support on this video, and I will see you in that next video in just a second.